Eric Dane was known to the world as a TV star, McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy, and later Cal Jacobs on Euphoria. But the people who mattered most to him weren't on a set or a red carpet. They were at home, his two daughters, Billie Beatrice Dane and Georgia Geraldine Dane, the center of his private life for more than a decade. In the final stretch of his life, multiple major outlets reported that Dane died surrounded by his wife, Rebecca Gayheart, and their daughters, a detail that pushed many viewers to look beyond the actor and ask about the girls he left behind. Billie and Georgia were born 1 year apart and grew up with a father whose career was always in motion. People reports that Billie Beatrice Dane was born in March 2010 and Georgia Geraldine Dane was born in December 2011. Even though Eric Dane and Rebecca Gayheart lived in the public eye, their children were kept relatively protected, seen occasionally at events, but mostly kept out of the daily celebrity spotlight. Still, there were hints over the years of how seriously Dane took fatherhood. People notes that he spoke warmly about being a dad and described his daughters as the center of his world, the kind of statement that sounds simple but carries extra weight when it comes from someone who spent so much of his adult life working on large productions, traveling, and living with constant public attention. As Billie got older, she began appearing more often in public contexts with her parents. People describes Billie, now 15, as involved in modeling and dance, and notes she has attended events with her family. One small but telling detail from People: Billie has watched her father's iconic show Grey's Anatomy, meaning she grew up not just hearing stories about McSteamy, but actually seeing the work that made her dad famous. Georgia, also increasingly mentioned in recent profiles, is described by People as joyful and resilient, especially during stressful periods like the COVID era and later during her father's illness. People reports Georgia is known as cheerful, and in earlier family stories, she was portrayed as the kind of child who adapts quickly, a personality trait that sounds small until life demands it. But the most important chapter in Billie and Georgia's story isn't about red carpets or celebrity. It's about the family structure around them and how their parents handled change. Eric Dane and Rebecca Gayheart separated in 2018, yet public reporting repeatedly described them continuing to co-parent closely. In March 2025, Gayheart moved to dismiss their divorce filing, an unusual legal step that signaled something many parents try to do quietly: keep the family unit stable, even when the relationship itself becomes complicated. Dane publicly revealed that he had been diagnosed with ALS. That diagnosis changed the meaning of everything: time, priorities, and what showing up looks like. As Dane's illness progressed, the focus in reporting shifted toward the people closest to him, especially his daughters. Reuters reported that when Dane died at 53, he was surrounded by Rebecca Gayheart and their two girls. Associated Press similarly wrote that he spent his final days with family and close friends. People also reported specific details about how the diagnosis was handled inside the family. In one report, the daughters learned about Dane's ALS diagnosis a week after he told Rebecca Gayheart, a detail that reflects how many parents try to manage bad news, protect the kids for as long as possible, then choose the moment carefully, and finally explain it in a way they can carry. In another People report, Gayheart described how she was approaching the situation with Billie and Georgia, emphasizing a values-based message, that you show up for people no matter what. That line matters because it frames the family story as more than celebrity news. It's a portrait of co-parenting under pressure, trying to keep routines, protect childhood, and still tell the truth about something life-altering happening in the home.